When discovering the texture of leaves with oil pastels or crayons, probably the best side is the back. It has the most texture. You can try the front as well. So here I am holding the crayon flat against the paper and just taking my time to gently rub where the leaf is and capture that texture. It looks like the leaf, doesn't it? So for this one, I'm going to do a lot of warm colors like orange, yellow, red. Here's a lupin leaf. Let's see what we'll get. I'm deciding to do the red instead. Oh, and wow, this is a little bit different than I was expecting. But it's pretty fun to see what you get. This has all been at a one-time speed, which means the same exact pace as you just doing it. But here, I'm going to speed it up. I think this is double the pace it usually takes. So you get to see me do it twice as fast. Notice all the warm colors I'm using, oranges, yellows, reds. Don't be afraid to layer things on top of each other. It can be really interesting. I like to go all the way to the edge of my page and fill everything in. You can use all sorts of things other than leaves to find texture as well. Here I've used things from my kitchen, my notebook, my shoes. Spatula, even hangers. It is so much fun to see what is revealed. Try to go all the way to the edge. Using watercolors, you want to put the water in first. Just drip a little bit in. You don't want a lot because it'll make a mess, just a little bit. And then let it sit there for a minute if you can. I like to use cool colors as the wash over my rubbing. So here's blue. Make sure there's plenty of water. Here I'm dipping into the teal, kind of a more greenish blue. The oil pastel and crayon you're using will create a resist, which will use oil or wax to resist the water in the watercolors. So you need plenty of water to make it work. Watercolors really should never be sticky or shiny. You need lots of water. You might not have noticed, but every time I switch colors, I go ahead and wash that brush so that the colors in the watercolor tray stay really nice and clean. It is so cool to see the green resist of those leaves kind of shine through that purple. Very fun. Notice the gentle back and forth motion I'm using with the paintbrush. You just want to try to avoid smushing the paintbrush bristles because it'll just mean that that brush will get old really fast and won't be as nice to use. Alright, here's a fun trick. I am just using white oil pastels to get these textures. A little hard to see, but this is the magic. Go ahead and go in with your watercolors, and as you paint, you will see what you made revealed. sure you wash between the colors. Use plenty of water. The oil pastel has worked as a wonderful resist. It stops the watery watercolors from settling where it is. If you mix magenta and blue, get purple. If you mix yellow and red, I took off some red because you don't need much red, you get orange. And if you mix turquoise or blue with yellow, you get green. Black and white make gray. I have sped up this cutting, so I'm not really cutting as fast. I'm taking my time. Now it's time to make our collage. So I like to just jump in with my scissors like Matisse. If you'd like, you can draw on the back and then cut out what you traced. Here I've decided to do some flowers in a landscape, and I'm just making some leaves and stems. I decided to use this resist and watercolor painting with cool colors for the flowers. I like to grow flowers, and so I've actually spent a lot of time drawing flowers and painting flowers, and so I thought the easiest and most fun and satisfying thing for me to do would be to make these into flower collages. But if there's something that you would rather do, something you like to draw a lot, you should do that instead, because that will be more fun, interesting, and successful for you, I think. Here I'm making a flower by starting with a circle and then cutting out the petals. Maybe you would like to make a collage of ice cream or robots or a tree or maybe Pokemon. I also think that monsters are really super fun to make with a collage, because then you can make as many eyes and arms and legs as you want and make it really, really cute or a little bit scary. You could do a person or a horse. You could do all sorts of animals, like maybe even a fish or a whale. You could do a house or a castle. A big part of making a collage is arranging and rearranging the pieces into a really interesting and wonderful composition. I'm also going to include the secondary color sheets. The green is a really nice contrast against the background. The orange doesn't work as well, so I'm going to go for the purple. Alright, now that I know how I want to arrange it, I'm going to glue it on. So the way I glue is squeeze just a little bit around all of the edges. Not a lot, because it'll make it wrinkle otherwise. You just put it down and hold it firmly in place until it adheres. checking this to see if I like it. I don't think so, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grab the gray and add a different layer of mountains here. Just a thin layer of glue to hold it on. Oh, that didn't work, so I'm going to do it again with a flat part. It's just plain. I'm going to cut that little extra piece off to make it nice and clean. Alright, now that I've got the background, I'm going to put my flowers with their stems and leaves on top. Now, this is a tricky part because I have a lot of ends here, so you have to get all the way to the ends of your pieces as much as you can, maybe with just a dot or two of glue. And then you really have to make sure when you're pressing it down that you get all the ends with your hands as well. Now I get to glue on the middle of the flowers. And this one's so super tricky because it has so many pieces, so I have to make sure to get glue on all the ends here. It takes a little time, but that's alright. You could make an abstract collage with just shapes, like squares and circles and hearts. Holding the whole thing down, making sure all the edges have been pushed down, double checking those leaves, and do it for all of my pieces. You could make a mermaid collage or a unicorn collage. You could make a river collage. Maybe you could even make a rainbow collage. That'd be really cool. Here's my completed collage. What are you going to make?